This week on Hermitcraft.
Sure, a couple of things are... Oh no. Oh, jeez. Things never go right at 8 in the morning, friends.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs. Our writer is SloyXP. Captions on this video are provided by Liara. April is fast approaching, and they've invited me to MCC, the fools. The annual Hermitcraft Gamers Outreach charity stream is on its way, and this week they've announced the teams for the Hermitcraft MCC takeover. Basically, every Hermit on the whitelist is participating, but since that wasn't enough to fill out the teams in full, they've invited wildcard special guests and jokers like me to complete the roster. Mark the dates now, because it promises to be just one highlight in an event full of action-packed segments. In the meantime, beef is back on the menu, boys. So let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
You think this will make it onto the Hermitcraft recap?
Starting with Vintage Beef, who is finally back on the server after a series of events so unfortunate, we're pretty sure Jim Carrey is in disguise somewhere in this video.
And he was banging on the screen in front of him. I was worried the person in front of him was going to get upset. I kept trying to stop him, and he was yelling and he was trying to grab the guy's hand behind him.
To recap, because that's what we do, Beef has recently moved from Canada to Portugal with his partner and child, after which his PC died on him, leaving him with only a backup laptop which could barely render Skyblock, let alone all the visual complexity that's present on the Hermitcraft server these days. So, to extend him some sympathy and welcome him back to the server, we encourage you to head on over and hear the story from the man himself. And this is only part 1, as Beef recounts the trials of actually getting to Portugal in the first place while mining sand and quartz for his first project in the shopping district.
I was so exhausted. It was not fun.
After all, he's been gone long enough that some shops have already won awards. DocM77 checks in on the Whacker-Shulker experience to find a trophy waiting for him.
Here, come in the shot. Ally, look to the camera. You ready to take a picture? Either they, stick their tongue out, here we go, or they don't look at the camera.
It's a worthy award given the effort he put into the mechanics for the game, although he's now kicking himself that he, allegedly, didn't collect everyone's arrows for use in the Torment Nexus. He's found something even larger to put his effort into now he's been given permission to use Zombie Cleo's glass-floored map art space. Setting up a cobweb farm just so he can get a specific shade of white, Doc maps out a frozen lily pad in the void of the end, all so he can replace the actual lily pads of the swamp near his base with basically a giant sticker of a frozen one. Although let's be real, if anyone's giving out awards for being extra, Doc's is long overdue.
Oh my god, I just made a groundbreaking discovery, guys. You can literally stand there with your sword and jam along to Tool.
Doc isn't the only one bugging allays this week, as BOO decides he wants a piece of Etho's XP farm, specifically one of the blue pieces that flies.
Wait, they're gonna be stuck. It's not gonna pop out, is it? Oh, shoot!
It turns out that between all the trial and error perfection of his forest walk, B-Dubs has been wearing down his tools and wants a convenient way to mend them. But after none of the allays are considerate enough to glitch their duplicates through the slabs around them, B-Dubs has to ask Etho for help stealing from him.
I know it's obvious, and I know it's easy, but I don't know
You're kind
how.
of on the right track.
Back at the forest, B-Dubs' first attempt at a silverfish XP farm becomes a silverfish rehoming project.
They're infesting everything! Oh, no! I'm gonna die down here!
But luckily, he's got other projects in their final stages, like the bundled flower farm he's just written the instruction manual for, or a bridge design that makes fresh use of armor stands.
I think that looks cool with the piston side as well. Could put buttons on there. There's so much we could do.
So Good Times with Scar finds out what 12 feet tall looks like in Minecraft.
Dude, I feel tall now. Look at that.
This puts into perspective the scale of the work he's putting into the landscape of his base. Though given that everything you see on the screen is handmade, it feels rather absurd to tell you that Scar has built a naturally forming arch. The whole time decorating the cliff peak into the entrance to the wider Rebel base, Scar is also haunted by a randomly playing YouTube poop noise, which might have something to do with that area sound function they installed onto the server a while ago.
Now. Shut up! On I hate so much the things that thing chooses to be.
Anyway, using our newfound measuring stick, we can describe Scar's base the same way we react to a spider. That's a lot of feet. Let's not ruminate much on that sentiment, and instead lament that the Etho Wither statue was ultimately auctioned off to Joel Smallish Beans for 69 diamonds. We at least dodge it going for 67.
We're going to pack it up. We're going to do it careful. We're going to get some white gloves, some bubble paper. And we'll
I just
deliver
realised
it
I
to
paid
you.
69 diamonds for 4 bits of soul sand, 2 heads, and a pumpkin.
It's not about the items. It's about the feeling that we all have when viewing artwork.
For comparison, Gemini Tay's base will have to go for at least 13,000 blocks of diorite, though she's not selling.
Goodness, there's a bunch of hermits that tore down mountains. I haven't had to mine stone this whole season, and
This week's news from her Blood Cathedral is that she has added the focal towers onto the front entrance, and a decorated round window to mimic the European Gothic architecture from her vacations to Europe and Goths. Just goes to show how much you can accomplish if just for once you say no to messing with Pearlescent Moon and let Etho do that on his own.
8 hours, or is she gonna get up in like 3 hours? Kind of.
she has the most mysterious sleep schedule ever, Etho, and I don't know.
I know.
You're so paranoid already. You're not even at her base.
Not everyone seems to realise that, however, and soon False Symmetry finds Buttons the Giant Snowman right on top of Pearl's base.
Wrong area though, honestly. Because if anything, seems like a very, very, very warm area. A little bit toasty over there, not gonna lie. You know who would appreciate you? This guy.
As for False's base, it's not under a giant snowman, so that's good. It is, however, overshadowed by a massive canopy tree that False has spent the better part of the week building. It's detailed to where actual shading is baked into the bark of the branches by alternating to the darker wood types for the parts covered by the leaf crown. The leaf crown that also took a while to figure out on account of the complicated shape. But at the very least, False hasn't completely sunk into the level of bush detailing that Azumavoid and Corrales have now unlocked. The gist of it is that an armor stand can go into a transparent block while wearing a block on its head. This way foliage can contrast with fun colours or blend with same colours, and either way look even more interesting than back when Corrales first developed the bushful art style he's known for now.
Feel like we might have created a monster.
So great.
Yeah, we might have created a monster, Corrales. Oh dear.
Okay, let me just grab you some more purple wool and
No.
But to get away from Corrales' bush, let's talk about Azumavoid's socks. Because, of all things, we got the Azumavoid socks revealed this week as a minor part of him explaining music theory on camera.
This is actually something you can hear in C418's music, the use of dissonance.
You see, having collected all the music discs in the actual game, X had no choice but to try and create his own one, and to do that, he's taken steps to learn how to perform in the distinct and melancholic style of C418, the original Minecraft composer. Thankfully, Rush B it ain't, and we get a good sample of the homebrew tune, available in full on Azuma's music channel.
But if you'd ever like to check out my music, go check out Soulside Eclipse. You can find it on the major streaming platforms.
As for his feet reveal, we already know what 12 of them look like in Minecraft. That's actually thanks to Joe Hills, who has an idea for a bone shop, a risky proposition on a server where moss farms are very much in vogue. But at least he's building it in the shopping district where hopefully his server mates will be more supportive than the terrain is.
Which involves... there is not as much hillside as I thought we were going to have to remove here.
The shop is intended to represent a real-life retail premises that was recently illegally demolished in the Nashville area, and while Joe learns that the party responsible have been served with an order to rebuild it brick for brick, at least he'll be able to follow their example as he constructs it in Minecraft. Hopefully the Nashville area doesn't see as many arson attempts as the Hermitcraft shopping district does.
Instead of the normal carbons?
Yeah, you can smell the noxious gases, Joe.
You normally don't want to inhale those scars.
And in wetter news, Joe also covers his participation in Nautilus races 4 and 5, although he comes away with just a single point from the 5th and final qualifying race, with Pearlescent Moon cheering him on the entire way.
What are you doing? I'm just trying to stay out of the bubs.
The bubs? There's
No,
bubs in
I don't
the
want
place.
those bubs. No, man.
The bubs?
Pearl was already far enough ahead in the naughty list that she generously decided to hang back and give everyone else the spotlight this time around. She spent plenty of time out on the water though, as this week she adjusts the glass she's using to shade sections of the river and drafts a fire service speedboat which is later montaged onto the server. You know, just in case there are any fires out there on the water.
Hee. I like it. You know what? With the aerials, I know they're a little bit too tall for the space, but just pretend they fold them down when they need to get into the really squishy areas, you know?
Pearl already saved Buttons the snowman from being dangled over a fire, which is possibly why Buttons has decided to move in with her. But she continues to chill out by dropping by Whack-a-Shulker and trying to beat the high score.
I locked in! Okay, that was better.
Rendog also decides to bring more life to his stretch of the river, although he does that more literally, finding a lush cave to poach axolotls to bring more whimsy and dead salmon to the Trillium Canal.
It's too early in the morning for this kind of magic, dude. It's like not even 9 a.m. yet.
He contemplates the grind of breeding a blue axolotl, but with a 1 in 1,200 chance for that to happen, and the only viable breeding food being unstackable buckets of tropical fish, Ren resigns himself to doing that at some point this season. Just not right now. After all, he's got other plans brewing. A wizard must have his strongest potions before going into battle, and Ren tests out a Rex Stone autobrewer before building quarter of an arcane laboratory in an equally arcane giant hole in the ground. And as someone who's putting a lot of copper machinery into holes in the ground myself lately, I approve this message.
Behold in all of its glory. 1/4. In fact, I've had to rebuild this thing a couple of times now, but I think I've got it perfectly correct.
Honeycomb and buzzing bees. Horse not dead, but now it is. Flowers bloom in tubes of glass. Moss brings forth a bone meal mass. Base of colour every tint, holding hidden labs within't. Shaded by the rising bow, light refracted, shaders glow. Cactus farms for colour green. Something smallish this way beans. Every week it gets harder to describe Joel to you, guys.
69 diamonds!
Nice.
Sold! There it is. Wait, sold? Keep going! What are you on about sold?
Cubfan135 is more straightforward with his assorted witchcraft, seeing how automatic potion brewing is a done deal in today's Redstone. Cub just wants more of it. And this street of overcharged coffee machines he added to the base actually comes in handy for the fire resistance, as Cub starts providing the orange juice at the entrance into the west branch of the Nether Hub. This is especially important as the golden tunnel to the west will be where the donator names are immortalized during the upcoming charity event.
Things that we're auctioning off, custom items, things signed, things that I've signed, TCG cards, plushies.
Luckily, Cub had the time to actually build that branch in between organising the 5th and final qualifying race for the Nautilus League. Keralis will have to invest into some fire resistance as well, since he continues to use regular zombies for decorative legionnaires, and the iron helmets just don't have a high enough SPF for the Greek sun. At least these captured pillagers already come sunproof, though his plans for what to do with them we can't discern behind the constant sounds.
Because they can just be awaiting their trials in the Colosseum later on. I like it.
His plans for the area leading from the quarry and to the shoreline at least are very apparent. Keralis runs an extra river through the fields, jury's still out on if it's a good idea to have a wheat farm downstream from a marble quarry, and handcrafts the riverbed, which requires a lot of the small drip leaf variant. To his horror, he then discovers that it's only farmable via the Wandering Trader.
Dang it, do I have any? No, I don't. I'm gonna keep them here for the moment. Oh no. I would need a few stacks of them. So I guess to the lush caves we go, Batman.
Cherry saplings, however, are obtainable in much greater quantities, which is good news for XP Crafted, who has heard your suggestions to build custom trees and decided the default cherry is quite cool enough. Why tinker with what nature intended when it frames the newest expansion of his base so beautifully?
Because there's going to be more flammables coming in to grow the trees that I'm hoping we get.
Nature did not intend Keralis to arrive and perform a drive-by unwaxing, so XB takes matters into his own hands, and what matters is a bow.
See, some people think about that stuff. Others just, build Rome.
His bowmanship is put to more productive use as he tries to beat Keralis' high score on Whack-a-Shulker, but once he's earned a few shells, he returns to the freshly cherried area to dangle some lanterns on chains from the nearby branches. It's unconventional fruit, but not as rare as a golden apple, which Impulse SV decides to track down this week for the most unusual purpose. You see, with Hoffin's help, Impulse has rebranded the golden carrots in the Back Alley Deals food truck as tacos, and to put together the perfect banner design, he needs the Thing banner pattern, which can only be obtained by drawing around an enchanted golden apple with a pencil.
Yikes. Okay, pretty sure
I don't have any of those. There's a regular golden apple. Yeah, let me just put this in the enchantment table, right? That'll do it.
He also finally puts a lid on the silo, for which his muscle memory will no doubt curse him as he attempts to fly out and splats on the glass like a bug on a highway. He's still waiting to wax the copper once it ages to a certain stage, but in the meantime, the glass pattern makes it look like yet another secret underground lab owned and operated by the Umbrella Corporation. But you won't find zombies here, thanks to it being well lit and air purified. To add to the ambience, Impulse wires the ventilation fans up to the control room, adds some campfire smoke particles to some of them, and uses a new mod to specify a region where a custom music disc can be heard, allowing him to pump in ambient audio from an unseen location.
My redstone wiring down there is it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. I'm now rethinking whether or not I should have put a layer of concrete.
And finally, there's Skizzleman, who has been doing something remarkably similar. You see, Scar killed one of Skizz's happy ghasts, RIP bless up, and Skizz took that personally, which is why he personally hides a note block somewhere under Scar's base with an even more ghostly sounding ghast sound effect.
There's a little bit of light in here. Oh, he was. Trying to light the place up. You scared me, buddy.
Activated at random by a chicken wandering over the pressure plate. When asked directly about it, he dodges the question, but he'd rather people hear the beats he's dropping elsewhere, like in Azuma's percussion sequencer. In the meantime, he's been learning how to simulate blocks which aren't actually there, thanks to Cleo suggesting he armor stands an illusory jungle log into place instead of taking the time to recreate it as map art. And he's been getting philosophical about building his mansion while being Statler and Waldorfed by bits of his psyche. Which makes us wonder if this is just how the rest of the server hears the Hermitcraft recap.
I mean, I don't know. Did I go clean it up? No!
Well, that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is SloyXP and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.